So Doors just released an awesome update that allows you to do custom matches with custom settings called modifiers. So you can see right here on the bottom right, if you escape the hotel, you get all these modifiers that you can do. Actually, some of these are locked by badges. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But in this video, I'm going to be going through every single one of these modifiers and talking about what they do and showing gameplay on some of them. Before I begin, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get into it. So first of all, you have to escape the hotel first to be able to unlock this new feature. So this will not work if you didn't do that. So as part of this update, they did release 2 new achievements that do unlock some more modifiers. This is the first one right here. It is called Not 5 Stars. Unlocking this, you get a whole lot of modifiers, tons of modifiers. In order to be able to get this though, you need to have 50% bonus using modifiers. I'm going to explain how to do that in a second. And then there's another achievement here called Hotel Hell. And this one requires you to have at least 150% bonus using modifiers. This one is worthy for its name. It's probably the hardest achievement I've ever grinded for. I'm still working on it. It is hard. So this does work on public servers, by the way, and on private servers. All you got to do is load up and you're going to see this on the bottom right. Click on this and you're going to be inside the create elevator screen. You could also invite friends and other players. So some of these are locked by badges, like I said. So the first thing you want to look at is these modifiers. These have different percentages. So you can see these are pluses and then the minus right here. It basically means if you do these, you can see my total modifiers at the bottom, it says negative 90%. That's because they're really good. So you're not going to earn any bonuses by using these. These are basically like cheats, right? So, you know, going really fast and, you know, having like more stuff, having more gold, having all the lights on, or at least more lights on. So if it shows a negative, that pretty much means you're not going to get any bonuses and you're not going to help get anything unlocked. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do when you come into this update is you want to get the 50% modifier bonus first, which will give you this achievement over here that I showed you earlier. It's going to give you the Not 5 Stars. Again, escape the hotel with at least a 50% bonus using modifiers. So how you're going to do that is you're going to go in here and you need to have at least 50%. See right here, I just selected Chaos. Don't use this one, but 50% right here, one modifier. And if you win and escape the hotel using this or any kind of combination of, as long as it shows a total of 50%, you get this achievement. And by doing so, you're going to unlock more modifiers. Now, some of these do require other achievements as well in the game. For example, this one right here, Roundabout, this one requires you to have completed 2 steps ahead achievement. So there's some in here that do require achievement. So the first 3 are just going to give you random modifiers out of the selections below. They can include positive modifiers too, though. So don't be scared of these, or at least don't be that scared of these. So for example, right here, it gives you a 50% modifier, which is great. But downside is these can have some really, really deadly modifiers included in them. So these first 3 are just random. So you won't see this one if you haven't unlocked the Not 5 Stars achievement because it gets unlocked by that. So when you first log in, you're probably only going to see these 2. It doesn't tell you when you start the match of like which modifiers were selected. You just kind of have to observe what's changed inside the match. So I try to avoid these because they're super dangerous. Like there's some really, really deadly modifiers in here. I'm going to tell you which ones as we go through it. But yeah, these are random. So you're going to get just random effects and we're going to start going through these specific modifiers you can end up with. So lights on here, this one just gives you less rooms that are dark. I didn't really notice a huge impact on this for the negative modifier. There weren't that many more lights on, in my opinion, when I played with this. So, you know, I would probably avoid this just for the negative there. But if you want to have more lights on, maybe you just want to beat Doors for the first time. And then down here is going to be some others within the same category. You can see this right here. See the little kind of bracket here and the little lines? That means you can only select one from that group. So out of these, you can only select one. So if you choose lights on, it's going to deselect this. So that's what these mean right here. These are groups. So with electrical work, lights will never flicker or break, includes entity warning. So basically what that means is you're not going to know if Rush is coming. You will be able to hear him, but you're just not going to see anything flickering or breaking when he's on his way. Bad electrical work means more rooms are going to be dark. Lights are going to occasionally flicker and break. So that's just to throw you off. So they're just going to randomly break and flicker to kind of throw you off. Also, they're going to be more dark rooms. Power shortage means most rooms are going to be dark even during attacks. Lights are going to flicker and break similar to this one. It just means more of it. And then lights out is probably the hardest one. I would avoid this one at all costs. I'm going to show you some clips here, but it's really dark. It's darker than usual. Let me just say, typically speaking, it's dark. This one's darker than usual in my opinion. I've never seen the game this dark. So it's not really worth the 25% in my opinion. But, you know, if you want to risk it, maybe you just look like a challenge and want to move like 1 mile per hour, go for it. Next up is El Goblino. This is a whole series of El Goblinos. This is really just a loot category. So this one, El Goblino on break means there's going to be a lot more gold, and I'm saying a lot more gold. Like back with super hard mode, you know how much gold you would get in there because, you know, he wanted to kill you with greed, right? So that's what this one is. It's a lot more gold. You're basically finding gold everywhere anytime you loot. This one, El Goblino is here, just means reduce loot, so you're not going to be able to find, or at least reduce gold, so you're not going to be able to find as much. I still got some when I've tested this. By the time you reach like figure, you have like maybe 200 gold. So this one's pretty brutal. El Goblino's payday is basically if you don't want to ever find loot. And this one I like to run with, especially for 150, trying to get that, or Hotel Hell badge, because it's 15% and you don't really need gold unless you want to buy stuff. So this one's a really good one. Next up with more stuff. This one means more items can be found. In my opinion, it didn't really give you more stuff. What it really is like more chances to find things. More items can be found. I think what that means really though is like you could really find like rare stuff more often. So like I was able to find a crucifix using this setting pretty easily, but I didn't find more items per se. It was just more rare items that I found. But really when I was looting, I didn't see that much stuff. I had more stuff in super hard mode. Less stuff is pretty brutal because you're just not going to find as many items. And then out of stuff is basically like if you want to do like El Goblino's payday, out of stuff means you're not going to find anything. Non-essential items and pickups cannot be found. Only essential stuff, essentially like keys. When you're doing these two combinations, you can also include wear and tear because items have significantly less durability or uses. So what this one does is, so you know how you have your lighter and your flashlight, they drain a lot faster. That's all that really means. I tried it on vitamins. It didn't really make a difference, but I did notice the difference with, you know, lighters and the flashlight. I'm sure the candle does it as well because the candle has drain, or it can, it does have uses and durability. So wear and tear basically just means you're not gonna have as much light. Gone fishing. This one is kind of brutal because most of the glowing hints are disabled. What that means is like on seek, as well as like if you're trying to do if you're waiting for guiding light, it doesn't show up. So like if you're on seek, it doesn't highlight the doors when you're running, which is probably the most or the biggest impact that I've found. It gets harder to do seek, especially if you're doing any like lights out kind of stuff. If you're doing like all lights out, it's real brutal. Same with like the bad ventilation, which is kind of a fog. I'm going to get to that in a second. So be careful with this one. Otherwise, it's not too bad. Like you could survive without it. Soundproofing is kind of in the same category here. So what this means is you're not going to hear any like hint noises. You're not going to hear that shimmering noise. So an example would be for keys, for books, for the fuses. So when you're inside door 100, you're not going to be able to hear the fuses or the keys. You're not going to hear any hints of anything helpful. Next up is wet floor. This one is pretty crazy. The floor is slippery. It wasn't so bad. This one's pretty easy until you're running with Seek. When Seek is chasing you and you're trying to slide under that stuff, sometimes you kind of slide a little too slow. Or you can, you know, especially with Halt. I noticed that with Halt because if you have the roundabouts with Halt, which is the higher difficulty version of him, you need to like move back really, really fast or else you're going to take damage from him. So wet floor is not so great with that. I did die because of wet floor with Halt. So just be careful when you're doing certain combinations, especially in all these modifiers. It's going to be really important that you are careful with those modifiers and their combinations because it might seem innocent by itself and then you add another modifier with that and you might actually have bigger penalty than you realized. Next up is bad ventilation. This one adds a fog and it does really limit your vision. So I wouldn't do this one. Honestly, I tried many times. It's pretty painful. Maybe if you're using like row shaders or something like that, maybe you're using some other tools to be able to see the environment easier. This one along with lights out might be easier, but I don't use any of those shaders. I know that I believe Creekcraft does. That might be just easier to be able to escape and use this. I mean, hey, you know, no one's really policing it unless you're going to post to like speedrun.com or something. No one really cares that you use row shaders. Just, you know, be cautious with this one. It's pretty hard. Next up, we have locked and loaded, which is increases the chance for locked rooms. This one is just more locks. I mean, honestly, this one is pretty innocent. Even key is pretty innocent. This is just Almost every room is locked. I use these all the time. I've been playing with key a lot, and it's not that bad. The only times it's bad is if you're in Halt's room, or if you're trying to find like a closet or a room to hide in. It could kill you, but it's not often that happens. It's really just like in Halt, you just have to make sure you're looting to find the key to be able to escape, or you could pick the lock if you have a lock pick. But this one's not too bad. This one's pretty easy. Next up is a few places to hide. It's not too bad. So all it does is just reduces the number of hiding spots. It doesn't like eliminate all hiding spots. It's just saying, it's even spelled out here. It says hiding spots are no longer guaranteed for everyone. But it's pretty much, I think, guaranteed for at least the main player or 1 or 2 players, because I haven't really seen much of reduction here. Same with nowhere to hide. This is a related one. It's just more difficult. This one I played and I didn't really, I did see a huge reduction in hiding spots, but a lot of the times wherever an entity like Russia would spawn, there were still a bunch of like closets in there. So I didn't really see a major reduction in hiding spots, so you can still survive this. Next up is jamming, and this one is insane. It's super fun too. Like personally, I've been trying to get this final badge, so I haven't been able to like have fun per se with these modifiers, but like I played this one just by itself, and it was actually really fun. It feels like you just got your headphones on and you're playing the game, and it feels like you just barely hear the audio. And it's like perfect. It's super realistic in my opinion, where you're just like chilling with your headphones and you can barely hear like your environment. And I love it. This is super fun. I love the music too. The music's super good. The music's awesome. So I'm just going to play a little clip here so you can see some of the gameplay until I actually get killed. Next up with Tripped is a health one. So these are all like mess with your health. Tripped, basically you enter the game with 50% health. It can be healed back. So it's not that big of a deal unless you have like injuries. Missing health is also going to reduce speed. So be careful with that, because if you're going up against Seek and you don't heal all the way before you get to Seek, you're going to have to be using a lot of vitamin boosts. So after Tripped comes Tripped and Fell. And this one is similar. It's just instead of 50%, it's 10% health. And then Last Few Breaths, this one is kind of like Tripped, but it's max health. So you're basically 100% of 50%, if that makes sense. So you're not going to, if you do injured with this or injuries, you're not going to like be slow because you have 50% max health. We did confirm that. You do run normally. But if you get damaged while having that 50%, you will move slowly. Last Breath is similar, right? But the only difference here is you basically have like a sliver of health. Any damage you take is going to result in immediate death, except... I did notice that I had this with Timothy, and Timothy didn't do any damage to me. I thought he would kill me, because typically speaking, if you get hit by Timothy, he does damage, and he didn't do any kind of damage to me, and I didn't die. I don't know if that was a fluke, but just as a heads up, it didn't kill me. So just keep that in mind. Didn't skip leg day is basically just faster movement speed. You go really fast. Faster is just a upgraded version of that. Now, this next one I do not have, but it is maximum overdrive. I have had it. It's really fast. This one's like you're on a boost. It's crazy fast. Like you're just lightning blowing through everything. It's almost too fast. Next up, my knees are killing me. This is only going to affect you while you're crouching. So crouching is really slow. Similarly, my legs are killing me. Movement speed is significantly slower. By the way, if you have this one enabled, if you crouch, you're about the same speed as this. This one basically means your crouching is just way slower. It's like as slow as this, if not slower. We already talked about injuries. Basically, if you take any damage, you're going to be reduced speed. Good time is a reduction of entities. They're going to attack less often. This is just a nice thing if you just don't want to get attacked a lot and you don't like jump scares. You can play the game without jump scares, or at least less of them. In my opinion, I still got attacked quite a bit. With bad time, it's the opposite. Most entities will attack more often. That is the case. Like I did this, and I tend to get like sometimes 2 of them, like 2 rushes. So be careful with this one. And then really bad time, most entities are going to attack much more often. So it's just a scaled version of that. And this one is crazy. This one's called Worst Time Ever. I don't have it unlocked, but the description is entities are going to unfairly attack constantly. So... yeah, I don't think I would ever want to do that, but just for funsies, I guess maybe I would do it. But yeah, that sounds pretty bad. Next up is Rush Hour. This one is an increased attack from Rush. I definitely experienced this. He's going to like attack often. I'm running here is another rush modifier. He's going to move a lot faster, so he's going to blow right by you. This one's not too bad, honestly, because I think rush is kind of slow most of the time. I'm tiptoeing here is another rush modifier. Basically, he's not going to emit any sound, so you won't know he's coming unless you have the clues with the light flickering. And you can kind of see like some of his approach, so as long as you keep an eye on him, you will see him arriving, but you won't hear him. He doesn't make his screeching anymore, so be careful with this one. This one can sneak up on you pretty quick. Wrong number is a dupe modifier. In my opinion, this one's kind of useless. I would say just do Battle of Wits. Even with Battle of Wits, he's not that hard. Just keep track of your door numbers. And the main thing that does change with this, though, is the key. Typically, you would just be able to go up to the key, right, and see the number for the room that you need to go to. And then, but instead it's scratched out even on the key. The other thing that's not going to happen is you're not going to hear his rumble when you go up to the door. So you won't even know if it's a dupe door or not because he doesn't make his loud rumble. So again, the only way you're going to be able to know is if you're recording. Maybe you can, rewind your clip or just keep track of what door you're on. My trick for that is I read out the door I just entered every single time. Next up are a couple of screech modifiers. So the first one is I'm everywhere. He can attack in any room. This one's really, really annoying. You're just going to see that during the clip, but it's really annoying. He's attacking all the time, especially if you use any of these with I'm everywhere. But with this one, Screech is going to attack more and give less time to react. And then Think Faster, Screech is going to attack more and give less time to react. In my opinion, he didn't really attack that fast. I could usually look at him faster than he can, attack me. So all I hear is the psst, and then I can find him pretty quickly. So that wasn't as much of a problem as much as he was attacking me like every 2 seconds. It was really, really annoying. So I hate this one. Honestly, this one's horrible. With Bug Spray, Timothy is basically nowhere to be found. So if you don't like getting jump scared by the spider, this one's for you. Itch is the opposite. He's going to attack you more often, and his bite can be fatal. What that means is he can finish you off with his bites. Before, if he jumped at you, you wouldn't be able to die. You would just keep getting attacked, and he wouldn't actually kill you. But now he can kill you. Now, these next four are going to be eyes related. These are pretty evil. They're pretty messed up. So first of all, nosy. Eyes are going to spawn more. That's not that big of a deal. It's real easy. It just means you're going to see more eyes. It's still not as bad as super hard mode was. Always watching basically means every room eyes are going to always spawn. That's problematic if you're doing like halt, or if you're doing seek, or if you're doing like figure or anything like that. You're going to get attacked constantly by this. Also, be really careful with last breath, because if you get tagged by eyes even once, you're gonna die immediately. So always watching. Eyes will always spawn. Seeing double means 2 of them are gonna always spawn, and then this one's just 4 of them. It's called 4 eyes. 4 sets of eyes will always spawn. I mean, it probably isn't gonna be much worse than seeing double. Next is Come Back Here. This one's pretty simple. Figure's just really fast, and I kind of got used to that with super hard mode. If you're used to like being able to avoid figure, this one's really easy, but it's only 5%. I mean, it's worth it because it's just figure, but if you struggle with figure, don't do this one. You really can't run is pretty simple. It's just an extended seek, so he just adds a couple of rooms. Not that big of a deal, to be honest. Like, he doesn't really like catch you. I mean, if you know how to beat seek, this is really, really easy. Plus his 10% modifier. It's basically free modifier bonus. I like this one. This one's pretty easy to do. Back for seconds, the ambush is going to attack more. This one, it seems, he does attack more often, but it's not brutal. He does come back a couple times, but it wasn't like him attacking like door, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. It was like, I think he hit me at like 30 or so. I can't remember, but it wasn't that bad. But the next one is pretty bad, which is again and again and again. And ambush will endlessly attack for this one. So I don't think I would like that one much. Next up is Rent's Due. This one's pretty simple. Hide's going to attack as fast as possible. Basically cuts the time in half that you can be inside the closet. It wasn't too bad. Especially if you add like, which one? The I'm running here where Rush is going to move quicker. This one's not so bad because you're not going to have to be in the closet long. So if you don't know, this is for your closet. So Hide will typically like push you out if you're in there too long. This is going to be about half the time now. It's not too bad. This one's an easy one. Now, the roundabout, this one's kind of painful because halt is guaranteed to attack and is significantly more difficult. So this one, you got to be really careful with certain like modifiers, like the snares. You're gonna want to be careful with like eyes in there. You're gonna want to be careful with the locks and such. So a lot of those modifiers combined with this one are pretty painful. I've lost a lot of rounds with halt, specifically because of him and having those issues. So it doesn't tell you, like, I mean, he's a lot faster. He's more likely to attack you. It does say halt is guaranteed to attack. I don't know what that means, but you pretty much die. Like, I have beat him, but it's really, really hard. Next up is watch your step, and snare occasionally spawns throughout the floor. What that means is it can spawn throughout the hotel is what they mean. So the hotel floors. So this one's really dangerous because I have seen, so Sunny died during Seek. He was sliding under something and, you know, died because the snare was right under the only spot he could slide under. And I've died to snares, like killing me in the middle of nowhere. I enter a door, get snared, there's rush. I've also been snared during halt, which was a really, really awkward situation. I died because I was snared while halt was chasing me. So this one's pretty bad, especially this one. This is multiple snares in a room. And this one right here is I love pancakes. Basically, there's too many snares in this one, and the attacks can be fatal. So typically speaking, you step on a snare, it's not going to be fatal. You can't die from it. Like if you keep stepping on it over and over and over, you're not going to die from it. You're just going to be like really, really drained HP-wise. This one can kill you, which is the I Love Pancakes modifier. Now, these two are rooms related. So this first one is A90 from the rooms has a chance to attack. He's the hardest one, in my opinion, from rooms. Some people have no problem with them. I have a problem to, you know, just responding fast enough to him because I don't expect him, especially when I'm running and stuff. I just want to be able to move quickly. So he's killed me a few times in this one. I think I could train myself to handle him. He's just annoying. This one, however, Room for War, is all of the entities have a chance to attack you in the hotel. And then finally, super hard mode. And this replicates the April Fool's 2023 mode. It cannot be used with other modifiers. So if you try to go and use any of these, it just toggles off. I'm guessing it's just because it's too complicated. I don't know. Maybe some people figure out some exploits or some easy ways to beat it. I'm not sure. But I'm sure the devs have some, you know, reasons for it. But you could play that here as well. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. Let me know if you have any tips, by the way, for the best combination for 150. I have one that I was working on, but I'm just curious what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, happy grinding. Peace.